Each episode of the Lion Goat podcast is completely improvised. Expect comedy. Do not expect consistency or sense to be made. This is random nonsense for your amusement. I am Podbot. I was inspired by the excellent podcast, Improv for Humans, with Matt Besser. Listen to his show. Warning: the following podcast contains explicit material intended for emotionally immature adults. Trigger warnings for this episode include discussion about adult themes, violence, profanity, murder, sexually explicit behavior, political incorrectness, animal, emotional, mental, physical, sexual, and substance abuse. You should not listen to this. It might rot your brain. Listen to a better podcast. Seriously, stop. Stop. Don't continue. Okay, have it your way. I warned you. Today's episode includes a discussion between our Australian sister show hosts, Austin and Russ, about the power of suggestion in modern media and the detrimental effects of advertisements on the human psyche. Intentional effects have been added to today's recording. I think it was a mistake, but do not adjust your dials if you want to experience this podcast as intended.
Whoa, wait a minute, mate.
Folks, stick around with us. We've got a few technical difficulties again.
I mean, we always get them, don't we?
A bit of the old interruptions here on the Aussie boys.
I mean,
I've got to get Russ's system working.
I'm trying.
If you don't mind, share your screen and then I can help you out.
I'm trying to get there, mate. If you give me a moment. Are we doing it through the other thing like last time?
Oh, no, I don't need to necessarily have control unless you'd like me to have control.
Oh, no, I mean, it doesn't matter, mate. Oh shit, wait.
It's the little box at the bottom with an arrow.
With the arrow, I know it says share. Okay, are you getting it?
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay.
It's showing the website.
Right.
So
That's
you
it.
might need to change over to...
I need to bring this guy over here. Hey, wait. Should we advertise for them? They're not really paying us.
Oh, you've got a good point there.
I don't want to lose the opportunity.
They probably don't have any advertisements from the early 1900s or the early 20th century. I nearly said the 19th century.
Right, we're not that old, mate.
Imagine commercials from the 19th century, Russ. We could have a good old time with them.
Right. Wait.
Miss Nadameyer's boiling tincture, Mr. Rumpelstiltskin's foreskin evaporating cream.
Right, that's what I use to get rid of me foreskin.
Really?
Right.
I just made that up off the top of my wally.
I didn't go to the doctor like everybody else. You know, here in the outback, there aren't many doctors.
There's not too many blokes.
There are a lot of kangaroos wearing white coats and stethoscopes, but, you know, they're not real doctors. They're kangaroo doctors. I think kangaroo and human anatomy is a little different, don't you think, Austin?
I do. We should probably get that recording up on your end before we get too deep into it.
We probably shouldn't. We're losing time here. All right, do you see? Is everything good on this screen here? I'm going to go to this screen.
I'm still seeing you count. That's all I can say.
Why not?
Maybe you just shared the one application and not the entire screen?
It's the only option I had. I don't know really what to do.
Maybe just click on the stop sharing and then start sharing again.
Okay.
If you're given the option, select the entire screen share.
Oh, okay. I was clicking the wrong thing, mate. All right. Let me come over here. Click on that. There we go.
Well, you figure this out. I'm going to go get myself a glass of water. I'll be right back.
Water? You're supposed to be drinking a Foster's.
Well, that's a chaser. A water chaser for the Fosters.
A water chaser?
That's right.
All right. Got to water down the Fosters. Bloody American. Oh, wait. Was I clicking on this? Can you see me? Oh, you're not there. Please don't be gone long because...
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you, mate.
I know it's a long way out to the cistern where you keep your clean water, mate. I mean, it's okay. No worries. I was just trying to keep the show alive, keep it going with a little momentum. I didn't want a lot of silence going on. Yeah, you know, entertaining the audience with
Oh, great.
the thrills of how you get your water out of the cistern out back behind your little shack.
Got a few wallabies sending me text messages. I've got to turn my phone on mute there.
Wallabies? With technology?
Yeah, you know, they get their little fingers in there and they can send a text message just like the best of them.
Oh, really? I don't think...
You'd be surprised. With all the AIs and stuff out there these days, even wallabies can send a text message.
I don't think anything a wallaby text is that very important. Do you? I mean, they're not.
You're probably right about that, mate. I'm seeing myself there.
Okay.
Click that little drop down.
Which drop down? Because, I mean...
The one you had your mouse
This
on,
one.
the mic input. The dingoes getting riled up again.
Yeah, me dango. Oh my God, there's something going on. There's something going on. This must be kangaroos in the trash again.
Perhaps click on the...
What? All right, well, I got confused. There, can you see that?
Yeah, okay, there it is. So when you're talking, I see the microphone's moving great. It's going through the mixer well.
Yes, working.
Let's see if you bring up...
All right, that's where my problem is. I think this right here is...
let's see. Okay, you've got yourself up.
It might be this one.
That probably should be working, but you can choose that one. That one work all right.
But there it is.
There it is.
Hello.
Yes.
Don't talk when I'm talking. I got to watch me thing here. All right, it's going up and down, right?
I'm going to hit pause for a second.
Okay.
And then I'll send you that file name and we'll start recording.
Oh, I thought we was with... Yeah,
Right.
running into the ground.
Here's the name for the episode. It's in the chat there for you.
I was in the peoples. I'm going to stop right like
I've
that.
begun the recording on my end.
Yeah. Wait a minute, mate. Wait, mate.
Save as.
We're going to save this one. We'll go up here, save as.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the file normal. Does it need to be normal?
Yes.
All right.
That's right. Great. Now you can hit record and we'll verify that the mics are going and everything's working great.
All right. Hold on, me pet dingo's brought some kind of animal carcass in the studio. I don't know what he's doing. What? I mean, I realise I should probably put out some doors to keep the wild animals out of my studio, but, you know, like feeling the sun on my face, don't you, Austin?
I do. I like to feel the sun on my face. I like to feel the sun on my nipples.
Oh, do you?
I like to feel the nice wet hair of a fresh dingo after it's taken a bath in the nearby sump pool. I like all sorts of carnal pleasures of the flesh.
Right. I mean, yeah. Oh, you all right there? What's so funny? You like...
You just crack me up, mate. I can't explain. It happens sometimes. I get a little chuckle.
No, man. You know, I'm funny. I enjoy your company. You make me giggle. And, you know, you bring out the jokes to me, Austin. You know, my life wouldn't be, you know, what it is without you. I appreciate your presence in it, you know.
Well, that's very...
Now, what are we going to talk about today? We haven't been together in a while, Austin.
Well, you know, I was just about to say we should introduce the podcast. I should probably play the theme music.
Oh, right.
I think I actually opened up the wrong template, so I may not have the theme music queued up here.
Okay.
But let me see if I can get it queued up. Give me just 1 second, and we'll begin the actual podcast. For those of you who are still listening, we had a few technical difficulties. We had to get everything rolling here. Oh, no, that's not the right music. That's not it at all. Okay.
We're not Private Eyes. That's Private Eye music, Austin. We're not.
That was the Private Eye music. You're right. That's for my other podcast. It's called Mulberry's Crimes. There we are. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Aussie Boys podcast, where we discuss all the previous old-time commercials. We talk about old-time commercials. We talk about the current uses of those products. I'm here with my co-host, Russ.
Oh, wait. Am I supposed to start talking now? I've been talking a lot. You know, previous to this, but thanks.
Well, that could have been your cue there, mate. You might have said something like you were saying just a moment ago before we had to...
That's an awesome intro. Thanks for the build-up. I'm glad to be here, Austin. It's a good time.
Was that too loud, the music, or did the playback work okay?
Well, no, it was actually fine this time. It didn't hurt me ears or nothing. I'm glad.
You know what? I forgot to record it, so I'm going to pause the recording, and then we'll get the music in there, and we'll start again.
Okay. What's with you not recording stuff today, Austin? That's like the 5th time.
We hired that new technician to take the place of that guy, Ted, but he didn't work out so well, so I'm trying to be the technician myself this time, and, I'm a bit disorganized. I thought we had another podcast coming into the studio here, and the Lion Goat just called me on the fly and said, you two are on the mic, we've got time to feel, we need to get this show out on the radio, and, that's when I called you, so I'm a little off sorts today. Give me just one moment. I'm going to pause the recording. We'll be right back.
All right.
All right, we're back here. If you're ready, we'll play the intro music. I'll fade it down, and then you can do your intro bit. How does that sound?
All right.
Here we go. Rewinding the music now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Aussie Boys podcast. This is your fearless host, Austin, the Aussie Boy. I'm here with my co-host, Russ, the Aussie Boy. We're here to discuss all your old-time commercials, your old-time products, and the current use of those products, and all the things that are going on here in the Outback. Welcome to the show, Russ. How are you feeling this day?
Oh, I'm feeling right. I'm feeling mighty shiny and bright today, Mr. Austin. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad you're picking up new technological skills to advance your person. I'm proud of you for doing that. Maybe we won't need another person like that Ted guy. He's awful. He does a lot of drugs, doesn't he?
Well, we haven't invited him back. I'm not sure if he's still doing lots of drugs. I don't get too many communications from him these days, but I did find out that he was able to fix the hole in the wall that he caused with his car when he was on that cocaine rage that time when he wrecked his car into the studio.
I remember that. The alchemist was rather upset. They had hay bales to cover the hole, and it didn't really do much for the quality of the sound in there. But I'm glad those guys are coming along. I'm proud of that blind alchemist guy. I think he's going to make a change in the universe, maybe the world. I'm proud of him.
I've just noticed that the intro music didn't actually record, so we're going to try that again.
Oh my God! So we're going to do this again?
Pause the recording. I'm going to pause the recording.
Okay, we're going to pause the recording again.
Just one moment here. You'd think with the modern art of technology, I could just swing that in, but we're trying not to do too much editing. So here we go. One moment. I'm going to pause the recording and fix my audio setup, and then we'll get back.
Fix it, mate.
What?
I said, fix it, mate. Get the show on the road with. The whole podcast is going to be us doing 17 intros. It's going to be,
Don't get frustrated, really.
Somebody out there might find our inability to do this properly amusing and entertaining, but, we're trying to be serious podcasts, talking about all those products from all over the world. Usually they come from America because, the States, they got a lot of unique stuff over there.
You're right. There is a precedent that we've set of our professionality, and we want to keep that back up. So if you bear with us just a moment, folks. Welcome back to the Aussie Boy Show. This is your host, Austin the Aussie Boy, and I'm here with my co-host, Russ the Aussie Boy. We're here to discuss all the old-time commercials, the current uses of those commercial products, the production value of those commercials, and how the commercials were made, and how we make modern podcasts here today. And to catch up a bit with my friend Russ, it's been a time since we've talked. He's been on a walkabout. Welcome to the show, Russ. Welcome to the Aussie Boys.
All right, Austin. Thank you for having me down here. I'm usually the only person on your show. I've noticed this. I know you. My walkabout caused a delay in production. I apologize.
That is true. That is true.
I had to do some soul searching, to get out there, kick some rocks and find out some things about myself, I had to go on a walkabout, do a little self-discovery,
How did that go for you, mate?
I think somebody found me a Sheila. I don't know how to talk about that right now. I don't think that's, it's new, it's invigorating, but we shouldn't talk about
a new Sheila?
Yeah, maybe.
Did your Sheila come back from walkabout, or is this a new Sheila?
No, I think it's a new one. I think she's been sniffing around me doors, man. I don't know. I've been putting Sheila feed out, to attract them.
Well, I'll be.
I'm going to build me a fence around this one so she doesn't get away like the last one.
That's exciting, mate. That's, I don't know what to say. I'm impressed. Of course you found a new Sheila. I hope your old Sheila, you let her down easy.
No, well, she left me, mate. She went on that walkabout and never came back. She's been gone like 6 years. She's been gone a while. It's time we get over it and go on, move forward, maybe create a life with this current Sheila if she doesn't, get out of the fence I'm building.
Well, you know what they say, mate. Don't build your fence until you've made sure that she's actually your Sheila. And when you build that fence, make sure it's full of her interest. You never want to make a Sheila feel boxed in. That's the best way to get them to jump over the fence and run away. If they feel boxed in, then you're doing something wrong. So just make sure she's feeling comfortable and everything's going well.
Right, that's a solid, sound relationship of ice over here from Austin the Aussie on the Aussie Boys podcast today. Thank you for joining us.
I've got up our first old-timey message here. Are you ready for an old-timey message?
Right, let's do it. Let's get the show underway, sir.
Be sure to read the current issue of Photography Workshop for an interesting and informative look behind the scenes with Dragnet. That's Photography Workshop, the current issue.
Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors. Just imagine this could be your advertisement. Please reach us at liongoatpodcast@gmail.com to provide sponsorship. And now, back to the show.
I built me Sheila trap, got me a new Sheila, sniffing around the trap. See, what you do, fellas, if you want to attract a Sheila, is you put down a favorite food, right? In this particular case, it's chicken wings. Garlic, Parmesan chicken wings. Sheila's crazy about them. Anyway, so...
Is that right?
Yeah. So you put out a little plate, and a little fan to waft the waves of the aroma of delicious garlic Parmesan chicken wings out into the area, and a Sheila will come.
Now, what sort of fan are you using? Are you using an electric fan, or is this one of those old fold-up fans that you hold in your hand?
It's one of those on like a rigging that waves automatically. It's a little crank. I've got it motorized so it waves automatically.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's not real loud. You don't want to use an electric fan because it's too much noise and it'll scare the Sheila. They startle easy, the Sheilas. Anyway, here's what you do. While she's feasting, right, put the chicken wings or whatever her favorite bait is out there for a few days and pay attention to her eating schedule, right? So the next time she comes for a plate of chicken wings, you put a post up, right? And the next time you put another post up. See, what you do is you slowly build the fence around the Sheila. And while she's content eating her chicken wings, she'll never realize she's being fenced in. And once she's inside the fence, she's yours, mate. You do what you want with her.
Well, that's the Sheila update here on the Aussie Boys. I'm glad to hear that you've learned a new way to catch the Sheilas, to attract the Sheilas, using garlic chicken wings and a small fan on that's a very interesting rig you've got there. The way you turn that little crank and it waves the fan to waft the odor or the aroma, if you will, of the chicken wings out into the outback. And so the Sheilas, they just come up to your back door. Is that how it works?
Well, it's pretty close to my back door because I don't want me dingos stealing the chicken wings on the walk out to the Sheila pen, right? So it's not very far. You want it close to the door so she'll wander in if you leave it open, She'll be like, oh, there's a comfy bed here and there's some porridge on the table. It's 3 bowls. It's a little bit like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. If you put the thing out that you want in your Sheila to nibble on, you'll attract the right Sheila for you. I don't know what you like. Maybe you like kelp. Is kelp a thing that you eat in the outback, Austin? Do you enjoy kelp?
Well, we are surrounded by oceans. There are giant coral reefs off of the coast of Australia. So kelp is rather a necessary part of our diet. And it's a good source of vitamins. And you might not believe this, but they actually make some of that Vegemite out of kelp and seaweed. And you probably didn't even know that.
I didn't.
You've been eating Vegemite your entire life, haven't you?
I have been. It's delicious. But we probably shouldn't say anything about naming names on that particular product, Austin, because they don't pay us to advertise.
Well, that's true. They are not a sponsor this week. And speaking of important messages, you've done it again. You've forgotten to ask me about myself. I'm beginning to think that you're not a very considerate person, Russ. Week in and week out, we record these podcasts. I always ask you how you've been, and never once have you asked me how I've been. Do you realize that, Russ? I don't mean to confront you.
Well, you start the intro, mate. You should just jump right in with, like, I'm Austin, I'm feeling this way. I mean, it's really your fault.
Well, that's one way to look at it, folks.
I mean, once I get talking about myself, I'm very excited about my new Sheila.
I mean,
she's got red hair. She's a very nice filly.
Red hair? Really?
Yeah, she's fiery, mate.
I like a fiery redhead.
Right, she's a pistol, as they say.
What colour are eyes?
I think they're blue, mate. I haven't really she hasn't made her way into the house yet, so it's kind of hard to tell. She'll get comfortable. She'll come in.
Well, once you've got her trapped, you'll be able to get close enough to take a look at her eyes.
That's a true story, mate. You got to ease into getting to know the Sheila. You can't rush, you know.
Sheilas often will close their eyes when they're chewing, so when she's eating the garlic chicken, you might not be able to see.
That's true. That's true. And Sheilas don't want garlic or Parmesan or grease in their eyes, so they do close them when they nibble upon the chicken wings. But she's got a cute little, nibble, and she's adorable, right, this Sheila of mine.
I've always had a special thing for Sheilas with red hair and green eyes. I know it's not very controversial, and it's quite a trope, if you will, but I do have a thing for Sheilas with red hair and green eyes. Just something about it when I see their green eyes looking up through their red hair. It just does something to me inside. Makes me feel a little squiggly.
Squiggly, that's the way you want to feel around your Sheila. I know. It's exciting. New times. But you can't just rush in. Once you get all the posts in place and the fencing around the posts, you got to take your time. She's got to get comfortable in the area. You got to put down, some hay for some bedding. She's got to have a good, comfortable place to sleep. I currently have me, Sheila.
You make your Sheila sleep in a bed of hay.
Well, she's got to be comfortable. It's a sleigh bed full of hay, in case she gets hungry in the night.
It's not like she's livestock, mate. Bring her inside. Let her sleep on your nice frilly mattress.
Oh, she's skittish right now, mate. She won't come in the house.
Oh, I got you.
It's fresh, it's new. She's not comfortable in the environment around. She's
right, okay.
She's guarded a little bit. We'll wear her down. She'll get inside.
We might need to have some offline conversations about the way you handle your women, mate.
No,
I'm getting a little concerned.
I think it's perfectly humane and safe. I mean, she's not harmed. She gets everything she needs. She's food, she's water, she's got a warm bed.
well, there are more things to life. I mean,
it's a sizable pen, mate. She gets plenty of room to exercise.
You got it. You're sure you're not going to keep her trapped in the pen.
No, mate. This is tell her, she gets comfortable with me and herself and the environment.
Oh, all right.
And she'll come right in on her own when she's ready, mate.
All right.
You don't want to rush these things. You'll break
speaking of truly attractive Sheilas, let's get to our first product here.
Okay.
And I think you'll find the relevance of why I've picked this as our first product today.
All right.
Be sure to read the current issue of Photography Workshop.
Have you read the current issue of Photography Workshop?
I did. There's a beautiful article in that particular magazine about photographing your Sheilas.
That's right. That's exactly why I brought that commercial. See, I'm always impressed with your ability to have prescience over the current situation and understand why things are appropriately placed in the podcast feed.
That's right. Let me ask you a question, Austin. I didn't give you an opportunity. It's my bad. I'm being a horrible host to talk about yourself today. How are you doing? What's new in the world of Austin?
I've got nothing to say.
I mean, obviously, you're learning how to get the technical side of our podcasting down.
Well, that's true.
Are you learning the equipment well?
Yes, I've been tasked with figuring out some new programs on my computer. I've learned quite a bit about microphones and placement of the microphones and how to angle your video camera. Speaking of your video camera, mate, I can't see your face. All I can see is your right shoulder and the top of your disc at the moment.
I mean, it's all right. You don't need to see me face, do you? I'm not really that attractive.
Well, it helps with the interaction.
Are you attracted to me, Austin? Or do you find me beautiful and sexy?
You know, if I can see when you giggle and I can see your face when I'm giggling, it might help just a touch. But
Well,
not a criticism against you, mate.
I mean, all I'm looking at is the recording program. I don't even see your face. It's not
well,
fair
you can
to me.
stop the screen share so you can see my face.
Oh, we can stop that so I can see it? Okay, let me click on that button.
I mean, I wouldn't want to look at me either. That's why this is a radio podcast and not a video podcast.
Definitely got the face for radio, don't we?
Well, you know, especially after those kangaroo wrecks that you've had.
I mean, I know, I've wrecked my kangaroo mobile a few times, but no kangaroos were harmed. They're pretty resilient, mate, and they got quite a leap.
Now, I was speaking about the harm that came to your face when you went through the windshield.
Oh, well, you know, this is the face I came with. It's just a little cut up.
Oh, no, I think your face is beautiful.
Chicks dig scars, you know, glory never fades.
I've had my own experiences with the mashing up of my face. But that's neither here nor there. I appreciate you asking how I'm doing. I'm doing quite well. My Sheila hasn't come back, and I haven't found a new Sheila yet. But, you know, I'm not really on prowl for Sheila these days. I'm learning more about microphones and speaker setups and how to get these programs recording. But that's going well. I wish I'd gone to the photograph workshop. I read something in the photograph workshop magazine about how to use photograph cameras, because that's not how you pronounce that word. Cameras.
I don't think that's right.
I think it's cameras.
Yeah, I think it's cameras, mate.
Cameras, yeah.
Photographic cameras. Cameras, that's right. That's what you say.
Cameras, is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds like a new type of lizard.
No, aren't those a pair of pants?
Is that a type of monitor?
Well, all I know is you shake it like a Polaroid, you know?
Ah, right. Like the Andre 3000. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, it is, mate. That's what we do around here. We blast the past right out your ass, right?
Right at your ass. You can blast that past right at your ass.
Right at your ass.
Anyways, so when you've got the Sheilas trapped in your Sheila cage,
Right.
what's your favorite wide-angle lens? Or do you like a fisheye lens?
I do like a fisheye, for some shots, wide angle. I don't really know much about the lenses on this camera. I mean, it's all digital now, and the 3mm, is it 35mm, the old school, like we grew up with in the 90s and the 70s and 30s. You know, because we're old folks out here in the Outback, we're traditional. But I always
the
was
30s,
partial.
that was some rough times.
It was a very sad time in the world, you know, with the Great Depression around, and why I don't think I was alive in the 30s, was I?
That's why I said.
I'm pretty timeless. But, you
That's
know.
why I made that joke. I certainly wasn't alive in the 30s.
Well, anyway,
My grandpappy was. My
Right.
grandpappy experienced the Great Depression.
how's he doing these days, Austin?
He's dead.
Oh. I'm sorry to bring that up. I didn't know. I mean,
He's great, but he's dead.
yeah. Oh, he's probably.
He comes and speaks to me sometimes.
Does he now?
When I bring out the old Ouija board.
What's he have to say? How's the other side?
Oh, he just said that. He talks a bunch about how the 30s was a pile of garbage.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But he says the other side's great.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when he went up to the other side, he was given a reward. He wasn't even Muslim, but he got 69 virgins.
That's a lot of virgins, mate.
I thought it was too many to handle.
Where do they find them all?
I don't know if I could handle 69 virgins on my own.
I mean, They're virgins, mate. They don't really know what they're doing. It'd be over pretty quick. You'd run through them in a week, I bet.
I suppose if I kept them in a cage like you, it wouldn't be too hard to keep track of them, but...
And it's not really a cage. It's more like a paddock. It's nice. I'm telling you, it's...
Maybe I just need to see a picture. Maybe we could publish a picture on our social media.
All right, here, let me turn on the live video feed of me, Sheila, roaming around in the pen.
Oh,
right?
God.
Oh, yeah.
Please let it go, mate. That looks horrible.
No, she's beautiful.
Are you torturing her there, mate?
Look at the long, gorgeous red hair.
What's with the leather outfit you've got her wearing?
She came wearing that. I don't know. I didn't put that on her.
Right.
I haven't started to dress her yet, mate.
Well, in that case, I thought that was some sort of saddle or something.
No, it's not a saddle. I don't know. She likes leather, apparently.
Oh.
And garlic parmesan chicken wings. You know, you use the particular bait, and you attract a particular type of Sheila. I mean, you're stuck with what you got. If you don't like her, you set her free, you know.
Well, there's nothing better than a kinky Sheila.
Oh, that's right. You know, a red-hot Sheila in the bedroom with a little spanky. I'm sure it's fine. I dig a little bondage, you know. That's maybe too personal. Probably shouldn't talk about that here, because we're talking about products.
Well, speaking of getting your Sheila ready for the bedroom, let's listen to our next ad and see if this will come in handy.
All right.
Make your bath a real pleasure and a beauty bath at the same time with white floating Swan Soap. You can because Swan's exclusive super creamed blend gives you a wonderful new kind of beauty lather for your bath. Rich, creamy lather that cleanses gently, then rinses away so completely your skin is left fresh, smooth, lovely as ever. Yes, it's the perfect bath soap. Super creamed Swan Soap.
Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors. Just imagine this could be your advertisement. Please reach us at liongoatpodcast@gmail.com to provide sponsorship. And now, back to the show.
Swan Soap. I remember them, right? We used to use them. My mother, God rest her soul, she used to use that soap in the bath. I remember. It made me skin soft when I was a little boy.
I thought you were about to say you used to use the Swan Soap on your mother in the bath, and I was going to get a bit concerned.
No, nothing like that.
I mean, I've heard of close families, mate.
You know, so what she bathed us with when we were babies, it wasn't a big clan I come from, you know. It's just me and 37 kangaroos and one wallaby. But Mother washed us in a metal bin out on the back porch. And with that particular soap, it was very soft on my skin.
Oh, that reminds me of the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a nice soft soap.
Yeah.
I think it's called Swan because it feels like swan feathers. If you've ever taken a bath with a swan, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I like a good swan sponge. You know, you just pick up the swan and it makes a little grok noise when you pick it up. But
that means it's enjoying itself, mate.
You just take that swan.
It's happy to be there. It's happy to help get you clean, mate. It's a pleasant sensation, them swan feathers all over your face and your bum.
That's what I like.
Right.
They just kick their little toes in the water and they get all excited, you know, and they grow. As long as you rub their feathers the right direction now. You never want to rub a swan full of Swan Soap the wrong direction on your skin. Now,
no, you've got to go with the grain.
Yes,
you know.
Yes, with the feathers, with the grain. Just imagine as if you were rubbing an arrow shaft down your body. You never want to rub the fletches of the arrow the wrong direction, or the
no, they won't fly straight.
Or the tanks of the broad.
After that swan is done bathing you, you know, it's got to dry off. It's going to go fly south or north or wherever they fly to from here. I don't really know. I'm not a birdologist.
Yeah, I think they come here because our winters are swapped, you know, so they come here when it's warm here in the winter in other places and cold here in the summertime, right? Of course, all summer it's warm to us, but it's winter to everyone else in the northern hemisphere.
Right. We're on the bum of the world, right? The bottom side. We're down here enjoying ourselves in the wintertime,
I don't
summer.
know. I think they've got all those maps flipped right upside down. I think Australia's at the top.
Oh, you think so? I think they'd throw the balance of the planet off and we'd wobble and float out into space.
No,
far,
mate. Directions of north and south, that's completely relativistic to the Western civilization, man. It's a racist concept. North being at the top and south being at the bottom. From the perspective of the galaxy, mate, there is no up or down, right?
Well, I see your point. From floating way out there above the planet and the solar systems, up, down, and forward and left and right. It's all relative to position.
We might be getting a bit too deep for a podcast audience. They're used to us talking more about beers and cane.
Yeah.
But you said something earlier that caught my attention.
All right, what'd I say?
When you were young, you had 38 roos and only one wallaby. Usually the wallaby to roo ratio is the other way around.
Well, my mother didn't really like wallabies. And she only let me have the one because I wanted one, and he was more or less a stray. He just wandered up, called him Georgie.
What was the problem with wallabies? They're just like little cute roos.
I don't know. I think it was something from my childhood. She was attacked by a wallaby. Her grandmother was eaten by a wallaby. It's something I don't really remember the story of the family history.
Wallaby trauma, mate.
Right.
Wow. And I never met a bloke with wallaby trauma before.
Well, my mother had it. I mean, wallabies are cute and cuddly, and everybody really wants one. And I think when she was a little girl, my mother, her grandmother gave her a wallaby. And then it went buck crazy and ripped her grandmother's face off right in front of her. It was traumatic for her.
Well, you're not cleaning that mess up with Swan Soap.
Well, I mean, they tried because, we had it on hand. Or they did, when my mother was a little girl. That's why she bathed us with Swan Soap. She was bathed with it herself. And she always cried, and now I think I understand why. I mean, our grandmother was killed by a wallaby during a Swan Soap bathing. I think the wallaby ate the swan, too.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I never heard of a wallaby eating a swan before. That was some kind of feast.
Maybe the first time in history.
Are you sure it wasn't a dingo? Or some kind of Tasmanian devil or some...
No, I'm pretty sure it was a wallaby. Pretty sure.
I mean, wallabies are usually pretty peaceful.
Well, apparently this one was rabid or something. They didn't know when they got it because it was obviously a stray as well.
Right.
And my mother was always scared of Georgie. I wouldn't go within 10 feet of her.
Well, I never really think of the wallaby or the roos as being a pet. They're not that type of animal. They're better to roam free in the outback, to seek their pleasure as they may. And that's the recommendation I would make for our podcast audience out there, people listening. Take it from Russ. You never want to try to trap a wallaby on your grandmother or give your mother a bath, because a wallaby might eat their face off.
Right. It's a hard lesson to learn, so you don't want to experience that trauma for yourself. I'm passing it forward so you don't have to experience this. I'm helping you grow as a civilization, folks. Wallabies and bass don't mix, and don't put your grandmothers in there either, because they'll lose their faces. It's horrible. I had to have a closed casket for her.
Oh, God. Closed casket, mate.
Yeah. Had a photograph up there, yeah. Well, you got no face, and nobody wants to see that at a funeral.
I suppose you weren't able to kiss her on the cheek or anything.
No.
That's a sad story. Let's go.
I mean, this is a little sad and a little graphic. Maybe we should go on to our next product.
Let's go to something a little more happy.
I mean, I don't want to bring everybody down.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do that. Let's bring the vibrations up here.
Here we go. This'll be a happy commercial full of happy memories for all our listeners. I'm sure you're familiar with this product. It's one of my favorites. I use it daily.
Constipation can be a problem for anyone, even doctors. And when constipation occurs, it's interesting to see just what doctors consider important about a laxative they might use or recommend. Well, a majority of the doctors we heard from had this to say.
A laxative should be effective, gentle, close to natural acting. A medicine that can be used with complete confidence.
Now, Ex-Lax has been popular with many doctors and millions of people over the years because chocolated Ex-Lax is effective. Overnight, it helps you toward your normal regularity. Ex-Lax is so gentle so close to natural acting, there's no upset. That's why many doctors and millions of people use Ex-Lax with complete confidence. Ex-Lax, the laxative that helps you toward your normal regularity, gently,
Now,
overnight.
you might be surprised that was only 1 minute long. It seemed to me like it was about 8 minutes of mind-boggling torture.
Well, constipation is a very serious topic, so you're paying close attention to that, and it does feel like a little time because it's a very serious subject. You don't want your constipation to end violently. You want it to end naturally. See, me grandmother, before she lost her face, used prunes, and 5 or 6 prunes, and usually in the shit all day. You don't want that, and it was violent. So Ex-Lax eases it right out of you overnight. It eases, breaks down the constipation. Well, I don't want to go into the science of it, Austin. It's pretty gross because it's poop. You don't want to talk about poop all the time on the radio. People won't tune in, except those weird, scatterfants or whatever the fetish is for poop people. I don't want those people hanging around us, mate.
Well, I agree with that opinion. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to yuck your yum. If you're into scat play, that's your own business, and more power to you out there, folks. But I will say that the Ex-Lax is an excellent product. We might get in trouble for using this commercial. We might have to cut it out of the podcast since it is a relatively, it's just so darn successful. It's been around for so long. Those Ex-Lax blokes, they've been making the Ex-Lax since the old days, and they're still making it. But I think that speaks to the efficacy of the product, and maybe we can get them as a sponsor.
Right, it's a powerful product. It's useful. It's been around a long time. It's time-tested, true, honored. Ex-Lax, you can still find the brand today all the way back to the 1880s. They've been around. They've got stick-to-itiveness, as they say in the industry. Do they say that in the industry, Austin? I don't know.
Well, your grandmother aside, I do like the Ex-Lax. It works well for me. It does help me out when I've got a bit of a problem in my dairy area, if you will. But sometimes I just take it because it makes me feel confident. I take the Ex-Lax when I've got a large event coming up. Some might say that's not a good strategy. Maybe it's got me on my back foot in the middle of that event, but I find a bit of Ex-Lax and a nice hot steamy cup of coffee in the morning, and my daily business is taken care of.
Right, keeps you right as rain, pretty regular, as they say. Delivery on time, just like the mailman. He comes twice a day.
Whether there be rain, sleet, snow, or hail.
Right.
If you've had a bit of Ex-Lax, you never have to fear that the mailman's not coming.
That's right.
Speedy delivery.
That's right. He'll be on time every morning with a cup of coffee and a bit of Ex-Lax. What kind of coffee are you drinking there, Austin? Is that Black Rifle I've heard so much about?
No, this is actually a bit of spiced chai. It's a nice Red Dragon spiced chai. I like it after a Foster's because it's got a nice cinnamony flavor. It's got a bit of bitters. You know how I like the bitters. Mm-hmm. And I added a little bit of cream to it. That was one of our former sponsors, the cream. Of course, you remember.
I do.
And, it came out quite nice.
So, what kind of biscuit you got with your tea, mate?
I dare say I've got a little bit on the fancy side this time.
Oh, did
and
you?
I'll tell you about the treat I'm having with my tea today in the form of this next advertisement.
Oh, you're actually eating them now.
School lunch may be a light lunch as against an evening meal where you serve several different dishes. But still, a school lunch should be balanced nutritionally. That's why a dessert for lunch is just as essential as for a bigger, heavier meal. And what could be simpler for you to serve or more enjoyable and tasty for your children than cupcakes? Now, you can get either the frosted devil's food cupcakes or the frosted white cupcakes in the bakery department of your food store. You'll find them all neatly wrapped to keep them fresh for several days. And each package usually contains 2 or perhaps 3 generous-sized cupcakes. You might get several packages next time you shop for food. And if your children carry their lunch to school, you'll find cupcakes fit into a lunchbox very nicely. Of course, cupcakes make an ideal after-school snack along with a tall, cold glass of milk. Cupcakes are delicious. They're wholesome, and they add extra energy school children need. You'll find they're very economical, too. When you visit your food store, visit the bakery department. Find out what a wonderful variety of ready-to-serve desserts the bakers of America prepare for you, fresh and delicious, each day.
Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors. Just imagine this could be your advertisement. Please reach us at liongoatpodcast@gmail.com to provide sponsorship. And now, back to the show.
Delicious and wholesome.
That's right.
And packed with sugar for all the energy you could want.
That's right. Sugar powers you up, right, mate? I mean, cupcakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what we do over here in me house.
Nothing wrong with a good old wholesome vector for sugar directly injected into your bloodstream to keep your child paying attention while at school. That's what I like here. As you can see, I've got a nice cupcake that I'm having with my spice chai.
Is it the white frosting ones or the devil foods? I like the dark chocolate. Icing on my cupcakes. I like the white cake, you know. You might like it the opposite way. We've never really discussed your cupcake preference, have we, Austin? So tell me a bit about
I do. I like chocolate cake with a white cream cheese icing. I do like the yellow cake with the chocolate icing, though. So, you know, I can go either direction on the color wheel there. But I do like all kinds of cupcakes. Sometimes I'll even go for a strawberry cupcake if it's got a nice icing.
Oh, that's beautiful, yeah. I like me a good strawberry, a blueberry cupcake. I'm partial to the blueberries. I like them.
Any kind of berry's great in a cupcake. I also wanted to comment that ad was also only a minute long. You might have been surprised. I think back in the old days, they just spoke slower.
I think the minute was longer back then, I think time is shrinking or something, mate. That minute was a long minute.
Something's happened with the TikTok and the Instagram. It's just come in and it's screwed up all our clocks. It's a good thing we're using digital these days. If we had the old ticking clocks like they had in the old time, it just wouldn't match up with the actual time, would it? Because they'd move too slow.
No, well, I think Big Ben over there in London's like 20 hours behind. Digital time is faster than analog time. I don't understand why.
I think it's got something to do with the internet and the short attention spans. It's them ADD conspiracies.
It could have something to do with all that sugar we're consuming from the cupcakes.
That could be it too. Could just be our perception of time.
That's right.
When I amped up on sugar, it seems like time goes faster.
That's true. You know, there's a song I know called Sugar High. It's pretty good. Maybe we should find that and insert a little segment. You know, maybe we can do that without getting sued, mate. It's a good song. It's groovy. It's funky. You should definitely, you know, inject it here for our listeners.
Is it an old song that was recorded a long time ago? Maybe I could find an old-timey song.
And I don't know how old it is, Mike. Maybe the 90s, the early 2000s, mate. I don't...
Sugar, sugar, everybody's crying 'cause it's mighty scarce up here.
Yeah, I'm afraid there's going to be copyright issues with that unless we pay some licensing.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful song. I suggest, if you've never seen the feature film Empire Records, check it out. It's in there.
Oh, yeah, that's a great flick. Empire Records.
There's a lump of sugar down in...
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I don't recall the sugar song, but,
Oh, yeah.
the sweetest little bunch of sweetness.
well, I believe you, mate. I'm sure you know your media trivia a bit better than I do. I tend to forget those things after I've had a few Fosters.
With sugar in my tea. Her kisses, they're like honey. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were better at remembering what movies are in what songs or what songs are in what movies.
Well, see, I'm a little bit at it because state-dependent learning, mate. The state of inebriation in which I learn this information.
To that little lollipop of mine.
If I can pull that information out while I'm in that state.
She puts her finger in the pie and makes it sweet.
It's how it works. It's science, mate.
Oh,
That's why I'm always ripped.
Oh, I see. Well, I never thought of it that way, but perhaps you're right. Perhaps when you're learning something when you're sober, it doesn't help you recall the information. It would seem that lots of science would, I don't know, I probably need to read a book or something about that to know the truth.
Right. I mean, we're not really scientists. We're just, regular average Australians hanging out in the outback, enjoying life.
I mean, if I had any kind of science...
So we don't have a chemistry set or anything. I mean, we barely got books out here. The internet's spotty. I'm waiting on that Elon Musk fella to get us a satellite internet. I think once we're connected to the mainframe or whatever that jingamajig in space is, he's shooting a lot of satellites up there, if you didn't know.
The Starlink, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've been waiting on that forever.
Yeah. Once we're connected to that with our minds, I think it'll be fine. That Neuralink.
I think it's great. It's a bit expensive, though. Have you seen how much it costs? I looked into that, mate.
No, I haven't seen any price.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a flyer in the mail.
It's not considering what you're getting, I don't think, because it's kind of like having the internet anywhere you go.
Right.
As long as the satellites are above you. But, you could take it right into the outback. That's kind of what it's for. So you could just have the internet anywhere. But it is a rather more expensive than the internet connection I've got right now.
Oh, really?
Of course, I'm not too far in the outback, so, I'm rather proximal to some cities and that such.
Okay, but I wonder, do we need to know where we are in the outback? Isn't that the point? Well, if you take your technology on a walkabout, you'll never get lost. And that's the point of a walkabout, to find the direction from the lost point, isn't it? I mean, that's what my mother told me.
I don't know. I rather like to get lost when I'm on a walkabout. It kind of gives me more clarity of mind when I'm feeling like the adrenaline rush of that survival instinct kicking in. When you think about how many brown snakes and how many creepy crawlies and how many all sorts of things out there that could just kill you in an instant. You've got the crocodiles and all sorts of stuff out there that could just take you down in a moment. It's kind of nice to have that feeling. It makes you feel quite alive. And I rather feel more alive when I'm in that situation than when I know exactly where I am, if that makes sense.
It's right. That does make a little sense. The fear of the snakes and the crocodiles out there, it makes you a little bit motivated, a little more alert. You're paying attention to what's really real in the moment, mate. And that's what we all need to do, I think. Maybe we shouldn't get so philosophical. We're not for that. That's for that alchemy fellow, mate.
Who's that?
Oh, he's under the Lion Goat umbrella, the blind alchemist. Haven't you listened to any of his podcasts out there?
I don't think I've listened to any of his podcasts.
Well, you should.
The blind what?
The blind alchemist. He's a pleasant fellow, He's pretty wise in the ways of science.
What's that second word?
What?
He's a scientist? Is that what you're saying? Some sort of chemist?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I mean, I don't know if he's got medicines, maybe herbal medicines or maybe some. I don't know what that fella's really about, but the podcast...
Is he like that Yahoo Serious chap that came up with the brewed his own beer?
Oh, right. Yeah, he's the fella that busted the atom open with a chisel and a hammer.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that explosion. He devastated a city block.
He had that great hair.
What?
He had that great haircut.
Yeah, he did.
I always liked his great haircut.
I did. I liked the Yahoo series. He's a very amusing fellow, I believe. Maybe we should get him on the show if he's still around here. He might be on a walkabout himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably pretty washed up these days. He might be willing to do our little danky show.
Right, for free, maybe, hopefully, because, we can't afford to pay anybody. We're fledgling.
Maybe he's got a new movie going out.
But we're gaining ground, I think. I think we've got like 5 new followers since last time.
Oh, yeah?
So that brings our total count up to
5.
6.
That's great. Yeah, 6, if we count your grandmother. She's still listening to the podcast?
Yeah, she's dead. How's she following us? We need to look into that. That's probably weird.
Say again?
My grandmother's dead with no face, mate. How is she following us? That's weird. We should look into that.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
it's the FBI.
Did someone steal her social media account?
Maybe. I mean, she's been dead for 30 years.
I mean, it is called Facebook, and she doesn't even have a face.
I better not see any pictures.
How's she on Facebook? I mean, sorry to bring up that. That's a disgusting.
I mean, it's horrible. We're back on this trauma again. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate.
I'm going to need to pound a couple forces.
I just got a bit riled up. You didn't ask me how I was during the intro. I'm being passive-aggressive again.
I mean, all right. Austin, tell us how you are, Austin. How you doing? What's your life like today?
It's great.
How you feeling?
My life's great.
You happy? You sad?
No. My life's great.
What are you going through? I mean, I know you Sheila left.
I went down the old blues bar last night. I had a kickback, a couple. I played a few bars. I don't really know how to play blues, but they let me play anyways. I mean, there wasn't anybody in the bar except for Stinky Sam and Stingy Stewart. And those guys, they don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
They whipped out the old lap steel and let me take a whirl on the lap steel. And,
oh, yeah.
It didn't sound too bad. It was about like a train hitting a pack of dingos.
That's a beautiful sound.
I mean, howling and whining and all the screeching and crying. And there were some explosions. But by the end of the night, everybody was in a rollicking good mood.
Is the bar still standing?
The bar?
It was a blues explosion?
Oh, yeah, just an explosion of music, mate. Not any kind of, there weren't any caustic fireballs or anything like that.
Okay. No one was seriously injured then, right?
No, mate, nobody was injured. Everybody's doing great.
What about Stinky Sam's lap steel okay?
Yeah. It's still working. I didn't break it or anything. It was just the music, exploded. He had it amped. He had one of them those
amplifiers.
Yeah, an amplifier. He had it plugged into the that's a hard word for me to say. Amplifier. He had it plugged into the amplifier, and he had one of those the pedal, not like a bike pedal, some sort of pedal. Called it a pedal. It's really like a button in a box. I just thought it was a button box. That's what I called it. I said, bring that button box over here and let me kick it a few times. But he said it was called a pedal. And we played it through the pedal and the amplifier, and it sounded like an explosion. I mean, it was loud, and but it was great.
Maybe you should turn the volume down from 11. Like, at first you got to work up to loud. Put it down about 5 maybe. Just spit it on the size.
Oh, I don't know, mate. I kind of liked it loud.
Oh, do you? Did your ears hurt? Did you wear earplugs? I don't want you to lose your hearing, mate. We've got a future in this podcast business. If you're deaf,
it's just a one-time thing.
It's just a one-time?
It's just a one-time thing. Yeah, I don't imagine they'll ever let me come.
That's all it takes to get you hooked on music, man. Music's a powerful drug. You got to be careful. And if there was an explosion of music in that little pub, mate.
Not nearly as bad as them cupcakes.
Well, sugar will ruin your life if you're not careful. You'll have to get medicines. You get the sugars, as they say.
Oh, I don't know. I think sugar's still great.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I've got to say.
I like a good sugar buzz. Well, maybe we should do one more ad. What do you think? Pick a right nice one.
All right. Let's see.
Let me ask you, it's a technical side that I don't really deal with, because I'm just the smiling face of the Aussie boys. I'm the pretty one. How do you get these ads? Do they send you? Is there a list? Their emails?
No, mate, these are old-timey recording ads. They're out there on the Internet Archive. Anyone can find them. I don't want to give too many secrets away, because then folks won't come back to listen to our podcast. I mean...
Right, they'll be making their own podcast. That's no good for business, is it?
That's the only reason that people are here each week, I think, is to listen to the ads. So here's another one. Let's see how you feel about this one.
All right.
Waiter! Phil, did you ever see export service? I'm going to call the manager.
Take it easy, Walt. What's mostly wrong is your grout.
I'm sorry, Phil, but my digestion is so upset.
What you may need for your poor digestion is something that works after nature's own order. Try Carter's Little Liver Pills.
Good advice. When your digestion is upset and you feel headachy and irritable, take Carter's Little Liver Pills. You see, each day nature normally produces about 2 pints of a vital digestive juice to help digest your food. If nature fails, your food may remain undigested, leaving you headachy and irritable. To feel cheerful and happy again, take Carter's Little Liver Pills. They increase the flow of this vital digestive juice quickly. often in as little as 30 minutes, and you're on the road to feeling better. Don't depend on artificial aids to counteract indigestion when Carter's Little Liver Pills aid digestion after nature's own order. Take Carter's Little Liver Pills as directed. Get them at any drugstore, only 25 cents.
Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors. Just imagine this could be your advertisement. Please reach us at liongoatpodcast@gmail.com to provide sponsorship. And now, back to the show.
25 cents.
That's pretty
well,
cheap.
Carter's Little Liver Pills. Did you know that the stomach produces 2 cups of digestive juices every day?
I didn't know that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the body that I don't really know about because I'm not a bodyologist.
That's true.
No scientific training whatsoever. I have no medical degree.
I can vouch, folks. He's not a bodyologist.
No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, you're fine. It's all right. We're just rambling, folks. You see, it's a conversation that occurs between you and me, Austin, and I enjoy the process. Let it unfold naturally as we try to entertain people with these ads from the old times, the ancient times before the internet.
I agree. See, now that commercial, it did it for me. You know, there was a bit of a story at the beginning about a patient and his doctor, and it was a bit of excitement, and it kind of pulled you in. Of course, it did have that obnoxious hiss of the old record player going, but
Right.
they talked with passion about their product. It wasn't so slow and deliberate like the Ex-Lax and the cupcakes commercials. I got a bit excited about it. I think they were learning more about how to make commercials.
You got concerned about the mate with indigestion or whatever, and you wanted to know what he was taking to get rid of it, because it happens to you and me, doesn't it? You don't want too many stomach acids pumping around there. You get the heartburns. 30 minutes, though, it was effective. That's what that Carter liver pill was, right? 30 minutes, that's pretty fast acting, mate.
Yeah, I agree that's fast acting, but I'm surprised they're talking about the liver at all. It's like they didn't realize that the stomach and the liver were 2 different things. Taking pills for your liver to cure your indigestion in your stomach. Do you think they even recognized before they made that commercial that was 2 different things on 2 different tracks of the body?
I think it's a brand name, mate. I don't think it's effective for the liver, right? I think it's Carter Liver's pill, right? That's his name.
No. It's Carter's Little Liver Pills. They're pills for your liver. I mean, I guess you in your stomach you have all the different acids and the different hormones and the different chemicals created by the endocrine system. The endocrines. I'm not sure how to say that weird, but like you've got your gallbladder, which helps create the stomach. Some sort of peptides that go into your stomach, and you've got like your there's all sorts of different parts of the body that create these different kinds of juices that go down into your stomach, but I don't think that the liver's more like a filter that comes after the stomach has digested the foods. It's like they've got it backwards. I think it's one of those sort of tinctures. It's probably why you don't see Carter's Little Liver Pills in the chemists anymore.
Well, no, they're all sold out. They're so cheap, $0.25 a piece. Is it a piece or a pack? How many's in a pack, mate?
Oh, I think it was a pack.
Oh,
yeah, a pack. A whole pack
for a
quarter.
That's
and that's an American quarter,
bargain.
so that's
what a bargain,
yeah.
mate.
Well, I mean,
that's a steal.
It wouldn't be that way these days. I mean, these days it'd probably be $9.95 or something like that.
Well, yeah. Inflation and our economy's shit, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast. We're not politicians, we don't make the rules. We're not barristers or banisters, any other, anything you slide down in, the law, it's a slippery slope. Let's get off this topic.
You think they slide down better because they're wearing those wigs on the top of their heads?
I think the wigs make them a little more aerodynamic, so yeah, maybe they do slide down the banister a little faster.
You ever seen a barrister pull off his wig and set it on the banister, and then you've got the barrister sliding down the banister on his wig? Because it lowers the coefficient of friction?
I think they do that to clean and polish the banisters so they do slide fast.
It would clean. You're killing 2 wallabies with 1 stone then, mate.
Right, and that's hard work right there. That's difficult, killing 2 wallabies with 1 stone, and especially a stone that size.
I mean, I should have said some sort of Australian beard
Yeah.
instead of wallabies.
I mean, you got to support local fauna and flora.
We've been harping on the wallabies a bit too much.
Yeah. Well, we've got so many here. We've also got a lot of those giant spiders that eat people that we don't really ever talk about those. They're hard to kill too. Raid doesn't work on them.
I could have said emus.
What's that?
Or the kookaburra. That's what I should have said, the kookaburra.
Oh, right. Those are...
Because it rhymes with kill. I mean, it's got the alliteration. It was right there.
Yeah, right in front of your face. We missed that.
Or the budgie. I could have said budgies. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. Magpies, emus, gollers, fairy wrens, honey eaters, cockatoos, parrots, all sorts of birds.
Now you're just naming birds, mate. I mean, maybe we should go back. I'll tell you what, let's do a little bit about the kookaburra right here.
What sounds better? Kill 2 kookaburras with a stone or kill 2 cockatoos? Which sounds better?
Oh, kill 2 cockatoos, right? That's good alliteration. Kill 2 cockaroos and you with 1 stone. Oh, right. Kill 2 cockaroos and you with 1 stone. Oh, right. Kill 2 cockaroos, kill 2 cockaroos, kill 2 cockaroos, kill 2 cockaroos, kill 2 cockaroos and you with 1 stone. Oh, right. That's horrible. I'm not a very good singer. not a songologist.
Well, that's all right, mate. You're not supposed to be a singer.
Well, I mean, I think in my heart I'd like to be a singer. It's just, I don't have the range,
I believe you could be a singer.
Right, with some practice, I think, maybe some learning, some vocal training, maybe.
Have you ever taken vocal training? Have you been to a voice director to teach you about...
No, I haven't. I don't even know if there's one out here in my area. I mean, there's a lot of open spaces. It's good for singing, I think.
Do you just sing with your dingos sometimes when they're howling up into the moon?
Oh, yeah, I do.
That's good exercise.
I sing a lot in the shower in the mornings,
Oh, that's good.
I have a shower song, mate. I don't know if we can say this on air, but the song Summertime by Sublime, right? Summertime, so you can't sing, but here's the deal. Shower time, getting wet and soapy. Shower time, getting wet and soapy. That's what I do in the shower, mate. It's a true story.
Right.
Yeah, it energizes me, gives me a good mood.
It sounds like you're making one of these jingles, one of these old commercials.
Yeah, for shower time. Maybe we should do that. A shower time, getting wet and soapy. Shower time, getting wet and soapy.
That could be a product. Is there a product out there that's called shower time?
I don't know.
Would it be like, maybe it could be like a special clock that sits in the shower that's waterproof.
Right, because
it could ring out like an alarm when it's time to take a shower, or it could have like a mud detector on it, or maybe a stink detector so it could tell when your naughty bits get stinky, and it could just be like, shower time, singing a little song.
Yeah, I like this idea, like on a little extendo arm, like one of those in the cartoons, boxing glove on the extender.
Like a go-go gadget arm?
Yeah, that's nice, mate. Let's get the people over in R&D on this, mate. We could be millionaires overnight.
What was that little song again? Can you sing it again? I forgot the tune. Can you?
Summertime, getting wet and soapy.
Getting wet and soapy. I like that.
Yeah, it's catchy, ain't it?
Wait, I was singing summertime, wasn't I? I meant shower time. Did I sing stinky time? What did I sing?
I don't
Stinky time.
It's not stinky time. It's shower time. Getting wet and soapy.
Well, it could... Okay, maybe it's stinky time until it's shower time, and then when you come in, you get into the shower, then it changes the song over to shower time.
Well, I think that's too complicated, mate.
Right, the go-go gadget arm.
I think it just be shower time so to get your bum in the shower and get wet and soapy, because that's fun, especially have a Sheila in the shower with you. You're getting wet and soapy with each other. You're slippery. Yeah, it's shower time. I'm not a barbarian. I like me Sheila's clean.
Go,
Sheila, so you know.
Go,
Bingo. Shower time. That's fun.
Go, Sing it again.
Shower time.
Stinky.
Bomb in the shower.
I was going to ask you about the whole shower situation with your Sheila cage outside. If you had a special shower for the Sheilas when she's in the Sheila confinement, or if you just aimed a hose at her.
Oh, no, there's a shower out there, mate. I'm not a barbarian. I like me Sheilas clean.
Well, that's good. I like them.
I mean,
clean.
there's a surplus of Swan Soap out there in there. Because, the Sheilas, they like soft skin. Swan Soap is prime product for having soft skin.
That's true. That's true. Nothing makes the Sheila's skin more soft than the Swan Soap. And don't forget to make sure that you give your Sheilas lots of Ex-Lax, lots of cupcakes, lots of Carter's little liver pills.
Your garlic parmesan chicken wings, because they like that, them Sheilas.
Yeah, and go to the photography workshop so that you learn how to take better pictures.
Right. Be careful of what kind of pictures you take, because you don't want them on the interwebs. Everybody see them, If you want to take a naughty picture, by all means do so. That's your business. But don't post it on the internet for everyone to see. Keep it private. Maybe on your phone.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot of Sheilas these days being exposed on the internet without their consent.
Right, that's horrible.
Yes, I want to be sure that we promote to all of our listeners that we are proponents of the concept of consent, even though it sounds like Russ is dangerously entrapping women in a cage in his backyard without their permission. We are fans of the concept of consent, and I believe you do ask them each and every time if they would like to be placed in confinement. Is that true, that you get your consent?
That's right. Look, it is consent. Once the cage is built or the paddock is built, the fence is erected, there's a little consent form on the gate, because once she signs it, you can close the gate and she'll stay around. The consent really is when she starts to eat your chicken wings. Or whatever bait you use.
Now, when she comes in to get the chicken wings, is there like a gate that slams shut behind her, traps her in there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because that would not be consent, mate. I'm just saying.
No, it's not like a trap that springs closed. She closes it willing when she's ready after she signs the consent form.
Right. This is sounding much better to me now. I was getting a bit uncomfortable, worried for you.
I told you, I'm not a kidnapper or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to show up on that To Catch a Predator show or anything like that.
No, me Sheila's out there in the paddock. She's out there of her own accord. She enjoys being there. She came in willingly. She ate me chicken wings. She signed the paperwork. She hasn't closed the gate yet, so she's not ready to stay. She's free to go anytime she'd like, mate. I'm not a beast. I'm not a horrible human being or anything like that. I'm not.
Great. Well, I just didn't want to set it out to the listeners. I'm glad for the listeners, if you're still around, hopefully you're still around, and you're getting the message now that Russ is not some sort of horrible murderer.
No, I'm a lover, not a murderer, right, mate?
Yes, we're fans of consent, friends of all Sheilas, especially reds.
Right, them redhead Sheilas, they're the best. I enjoy their little ginger snaps, you know what I'm saying?
Not sure what you're talking about there, if you're talking about cupcakes or what, but I like ginger snaps as well.
There's tasty little cookies, aren't they, them ginger snaps? All right, is this the end of a podcast, Austin? Have we done a good job today?
I feel like we've done a great job. Let's get that theme music rolling again.
All right.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on another wonderful episode of the Aussie Boys podcast. We're glad to have you here, and we're glad to see you next time. If you choose to come back, please choose to come back.
Hit that follow button. We're going to get them up more than past 6. Right? Our goal is to get 7.5 followers next week. Can we do that, Austin?
That's right. Please follow. Please subscribe. Please look us up on social media. I'm sure there's some of that out there somewhere. Somebody's doing some of that.
Right. If you'll go over to the website, I don't think we have our own website, but there's an umbrella website for the Lion Goat Network or whatever it is. You can find all the guys that are on the Lion Goat podcast. Us, the Alchemists, Mr. Anonymous himself is a good shout out, Maybe that Cynical Sam, the library man. I hope there's not another episode of that. That guy was horrible. I don't think he really enjoyed podcasting like that. Not the way we do. We have a good time.
I didn't listen to that. But don't confuse Cynical Sam with Stinky Sam. Those are two different Sams.
No, that's different fellows, right? please.
That's right.
I don't think Stinky Sam would like being called cynical. He might punch you in the mouth.
Well, he is that type of bloke. He doesn't put up with anything from anybody.
No disrespect toward Stinky Sam. He'll bust you right in the chops, bust your teeth.
Cynical Sam, he probably couldn't hold water with his biceps. He's just a little twig of a man.
Oh,
That's
right.
probably why he's so cynical.
Maybe.
But don't want to talk bad about him. I mean, nothing wrong with libraries. I've never listened to his show. But
No, I enjoy the library. I like the smell of the books, once they get old and mildew. It
Really?
smells like knowledge,
Wait a second. Okay, what are you saying?
Oh, yeah, wait, we're trying to end the podcast? We've had a lot of trouble today starting and stopping the podcast, hadn't we?
That technically was the end of the podcast, but then you brought up something that was rather surprising. You like the smell of books. Is that what you're telling us?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the smell of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what it smells like to me. You don't associate the smell of the library with knowledge and wisdom?
Well, let me think about that.
That's too long, mate. There's too much dead space. We can't have it. It's a horrible show with this dead space.
Yeah, people probably won't still be listening. I think I've got to think about that some more. All right. Well, thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to the podcast. This has been another episode of the Aussie Boys. We're glad to have you here, and we hope to see you again in the future.
Right. Go to the library. Smell the books. Be smart.
That's right. Smell the books, smell the roses, smell the dingoes and the babies, smell the wallaby shut. And if your Sheila gets stinky, get her some Swan Soap.
Right. Enjoy your time. Have a happy life.
Happy life.
That's it. Like, who's? Oh wait, I've got to push stop on the recording,
Wait.
don't I?
What are you talking about? I thought we already finished.
I'm still going over here, mate. Do I
All
need to
right,
stop?
ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the Aussie Boys podcast. I think Russ has figured out how to turn off the recording.
No, not yet.
Any minute, any time now, if you want to share your
Is it
screen,
the
I can
square
talk
button?
you through it.
It's
You
the
just
square
press that
button, right,
stop.
mate? Not the red.
It's the button that says stop, mate.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Right here. I'm clicking it now. Wait, hit the music one more time. We're gonna go out on a bang.
Oh, okay. Here, one more time. We'll do an out. We'll just do a proper out, and then you can hit the button. Don't pay attention to the rest of this, folks. This is the actual ending. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to the Aussie Boys podcast. This is your host, Austin, and our other host, Russ, saying thank you for listening. Come back next time. Love the lion goats and all the different stuff that they do. Stay sane, stay safe, and stay employed.
Do what? I push stop now.
Were you gonna say any sort of goodbyes?
No, I think you covered it. I know. I mean, it was nice being here. Thanks for having me. Have a good life. Till we meet again.
Have a good life.
Safe journeys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna see you after this is over, right, mate?
I mean, I know.
What?
Yeah, you're right across town. I'll be over at the pub and we'll hang out and play some blues with Stinky Sam.
All right. Okay.
We're
Yeah.
gonna Keep me Foster's cold.
Yeah.
I'll be
Okay.
down in a minute.
Oh, you can hit
I
stop.
gotta check on me, Sheila.
You can hit stop now.
Oh, okay. All right. Push and stop now.
All right. Stop.
We would love to receive your feedback, your improvisation suggestions, your questions for advice, and your musical compositions for response. Please email us or send us a voicemail. Our address is liongoatpodcast@gmail.com. Find, like, review, subscribe, and contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and YouTube. Please subscribe to this podcast on your podcast player. We are available on Spotify, SoundCloud, and anchor.fm/liongoatpodcast. All one word. Please tell all your friends, enemies, and any strangers to listen to our podcast. Text-to-speech services were provided by freetts.com. Advertisements and music were provided by the Internet Archive Collection of the Armed Forces Radio Service and other attribution-free old radio productions. The Library of Congress made the sound recordings, published prior to 1923, in the National Jukebox, available under the Music Modernization Act, enter into the public domain on January 1st, 2022, free to use and reuse. The recording of the music of Al Jolson, Albert Gumbel, Jack Yellen, and Alfred Bryan is A Lump of Sugar Down in Dixie, 1917. Audio, retrieved from the Library of Congress, loc.gov. is used here not for profit and for the purposes of satire. This use is presumed to be allowed by public domain, fair use or other statutory exemptions. This citation is a formal request to any rights holders for copy and distribution in the case that any unintentional breach of rights has occurred. Additional sound effects were provided by freesound.org. Other original music for today's show was composed, performed, and recorded by the excellent musicians at Hairline Productions. Today's show was edited, produced, and recorded by the world's greatest sound designers and engineers at Hairline Productions. Please like their content on SoundCloud/guitars and such.